Let me set the scene. A new pattern comes out. It's autumn in the Northern Hemisphere, the holidays are coming up, and suddenly everyone wants to knit it. It's on the front page of Ravelry, it's everywhere on the Explore tab, on Instagram, your knitting Facebook groups are flooded with it, and you have scrolled past 3 TikToks in rapid succession about the pattern, and now perhaps you find yourself thinking, maybe I'd like this in pink and mint. Today we have got to talk about these sailor slippers. Ahoy there besties, and welcome back to another video on my channel. Now this little scenario I painted for you, it kind of continues, because of course when a pattern blows up like that, it's subject to scrutiny and inevitably similar patterns coming out, and there have been some controversial things going on here. So in today's video, I want to do what I did with the Sophie video. I want to first, of course, knit the project and see how long it takes me to knit and what I think about it. So I have yarn, and then once we have made the slippers, I want to have a little sit down and talk. We'll get over what's been going on with them, and I am also bringing back the community opinions. That's right, I once again asked all of you who follow me on Instagram to leave your thoughts, opinions and such, and we shall be going over those opinions as well. And of course my opinions after knitting the patterns, and maybe my opinions on controversial things, and my thoughts, my opinions. I like to try and give balanced takes, so we're gonna do that. But yeah, everything will of course be time-stamped for easy navigation in case you're just here for the chat or you're just here for the knitting. Everything is time-stamped. But yeah, I think we're all eager to hear about these now, so let's actually make some slippers, shall we? I am so excited. Honestly, I've been wanting to make this video since before Christmas, so yeah, let's go. I wasn't joking when I said I wanted to make this in pink and mint. Here's my yarn lineup for these slippers. I'm thinking the 2 light colours for the stripes and the darker pink for the soles. I also had to get needle tips for this project as I didn't own 8mm needles, and of course, if I can, I'm gonna pick something pink. So I have some liquor needles in the blush series especially for this project. I am so excited. I'm just going to cast on and go straight away. I definitely had some, not learning curve, but like getting used to with these needles. Typically I knit on 3.5 to 4.5mm needles or thinner, so everything above a 5mm feels very big to knit with. I found I had to exaggerate my movements a lot to even make my stitches, but I picked up speed pretty fast, and now we can zoom through these stripes. I didn't end up using a timer for these to see how long it took me to make, but each slipper in my size only took a couple of hours to knit. The stripes made this very fun to make as there is always something happening, aka colour changes. I love knitting, it's so much fun. I have reached the toe on my first slipper, and now I will attach the sole yarn, which is this really bright darker pink. One thing I have as a reflection after working on this pattern is I think if I'm making these again, I may want to actually do one selvage stitch to prevent all the curling. The curling absolutely does not matter, as it's not going to affect the seaming we will do later, but it's a personal preference thing. The curling is kind of stressing me out. But speaking of seaming, we finished the sole and we have a very long piece of fabric here. I seamed them together off camera because while seaming is something I don't mind doing, it took a long time and I got sidetracked a lot, so instead it's me knitting the edge around the top of the slipper. I went with the sole colour again for this. And then we are casting on the second slipper right away. That one flew off the needles even faster, with the only difference from slipper number 1 being the slight shaping of the heel to create a right versus left foot. But after finishing the sole, I see that I am not going to be winning yarn chicken. This length of yarn will be used for sewing the sides of the slipper, and so I will not have enough to do the second I-cord. I do have a bunch left of the mint though, so I will rip out the pink I-cord from my first slipper and replace it with mint. I think this is going to look a lot better anyway. But that's these two finished. They're enormous, but let's toss them in the washing machine to see what happens. And oh my goodness, they are perfect. After a wash, they're so tiny and cute, and they're the perfect fit. So cute. Okay, so now that we have made a pair of slippers, I have another pair of slippers on the way. We have tried the pattern out and I have thoughts. Honestly, mostly positive thoughts, as I found this to be a fun and quick knit. I didn't turn up using a timer for checking how long it took to make them, but each slipper in my size, which is a EU 37, only took me a couple of hours to knit, and then some extra time for the sewing. The slipper that I'm currently working on, this black and orange one, is for my father-in-law, and it's a bit bigger than mine. They are taking a little bit longer. Again, for context, I am an EU 37, which is a size 2 in the pattern, and this is a size 43 EU again, which is the size 7 in the pattern. Now this is a massive knitting needle. At least for me, my go-to is somewhere between 3.5 to 4mm, and this is an 8mm needle. If you hear thuds and stuff in the background, that is my cat playing with some cat toys. Pardon the ruckus, but that's what's going on. This is an 8mm needle, so I do find, and I think you noticed this in the video as well, that I have to really exaggerate my movements to make my stitches, especially while purling. And I don't super love that, but since it's a pretty small project, I think it's okay. But I don't love to have to do those big motions, but again, it's okay. I do like the yarn. It's pretty soft and it felted really, really well. For some reason, I didn't think it was going to come out looking like the photos at all, but I'm actually absolutely in love with how my slippers came out. They are super cute, and I'm so glad I ended up changing the dark pink to the mint around the edge of the top of the slipper, because I think it really ties them together. I know a lot of people dislike seaming. I didn't mind the step, but it did take a long time. I'm pretty sure if you were to make these and you hate sewing, you could probably flip them inside out and do a cheeky little crochet slip stitch join. I might try this in a future project, a future pair. I did find a mod for these that I want to try at some point. I wanted to do it today, but unfortunately I ran out of time. The mod is where you basically turn them into a pair of cat paws, so I will instead do that in the future in another video sometime in the future. So I can also try the crochet join method in that one. But yeah, felting worked a charm. Like I said, they turn out really nice, and now I have a pair of very, very cute slippers. These honestly make me so happy to see. They are so cute. It's my favorite color combination, so of course they make me happy. But yeah, I do have some sock grip laying around somewhere in my miscellaneous craft stash. And if I find this to be too slippery to walk around in, I might add some of that to the soles of these, but we shall see. Usually I don't find wool to be too slippery, but again, we shall see what we think after using them for some time. As for the pattern, I found that to be very clear, very well written, with lots of links and resources and tutorials for different steps that you might need some extra help in and find challenging if you are a newer knitter. But now, speaking of pattern, we have some community opinions to go through, and I also want to briefly go over the drama that has been happening around these patterns, or these slippers. I am not in the business of being a drama or commentary channel, so I will not be going into great detail about what happened, but I will offer an overview as well as a couple of opinions of my own on what's been going on. And I think if we are to talk about this pattern, we have to mention the drama because it happened. So I will go ahead and mention before getting into this that there are other channels who position themselves more firmly in the commentary part of YouTube that have made great videos about this, such as Aspen in the Moment. I have linked their video in the description of this video in case you want a more in-depth look at what happened. But in short, Annie Sews, Annie Germain, Annie Sews on Instagram and other places, posted this pattern, the sailor slippers, in October of 2025, and it very much blew up across social media. Naturally, with this virality, people start modifying and posting their own versions, including crochet versions. And in November of 2025, Alia.loops on Instagram posted a test crochet call for her crochet striped slippers, soft felt slippers, and it was then later posted to Etsy on November 25th, 2025. Not long after this, the soft felt slippers were taken down from Etsy due to Annie Sews filing a complaint to Etsy citing copyright infringement, which Alia disputed, and according to her, also reached out privately to Annie Sews. After not getting a reply, Alia took to her stories on Instagram, which sparked a bit of a back and forth in stories between the two designers. And as we can see here in the story screenshots, these are the first two screenshots from Alia. We have the screenshot on screen, but I will read it out as well because yeah. Hello everyone, today something very unpleasant happened and I'm genuinely upset. The knitting designer Annie Sews filed a complaint on Etsy against my listing and it was removed. I honestly don't understand why, because my pattern is crochet and I spent a huge amount of time figuring out how to create these slippers in crochet. I built a stitch calculator so you can work with different yarns. I ran testing. I invested so much effort and time, and while I was sleeping, my listing on Etsy was taken down. I have submitted a counter appeal because this is not copyright infringement. Knitting and crocheting are two completely different techniques, and even the slippers themselves look different. These are two entirely different products. I hope for your support because I even reached out to Annie Sews privately, but she hasn't read my messages. Which was then followed by the following screenshot. My heart is broken over this situation. Etsy doesn't support small businesses at all. They said they will only restore my listing if this girl withdraws her complaint. But Annie Sews is not responding to my messages. It hurts so much because I worked so hard on these slippers to make a crochet version available for everyone. I also spent a lot of time creating the stitch calculator, yarn catalogue, charts and all the calculations. I put my whole heart into it, and in the end I'm completely unprotected. I'm crying. And Annie Sews replied to this with her initial story response, which was this following screenshot. Once again, hi everyone, I just wanted to address a situation that has come up today regarding another creator on here. Unfortunately, as I didn't reply within 2 hours of their initial message, they decided to post publicly about the situation before giving us a chance to resolve it privately. Rest assured, I'm in contact with the other creator and I'm hopeful we can resolve this matter professionally and without hearsay. Hope you're all enjoying your evening. Which Alia posted this response to, which if we zoom in, shows her replying to Annie's story, saying she's not getting any replies. To which Annie replies with another story. Evening everyone, just to follow up on my story yesterday for those who might have unanswered questions. The other creator and I have indeed been in conversation since yesterday via email. Please note, I am only one person, so my messages on here aren't monitored 24/7, and I don't deal with professional matters via Instagram DM. Contrary to what people are saying, I have never claimed to have invented felted slippers, and I recognise crochet is different to knitting. I'm a crocheter first and foremost. I was only trying to protect the sailor slippers design, which has recently been subjected to countless copies, particularly on Etsy. Due to how this has been handled over the last day or so, I am seeing a lot of uninformed and accusatory comments. I'd appreciate if people could apply nuance before drawing conclusions and posting hurtful comments online. The situation is actively being resolved. Have a great weekend. And those are the stories that we have saved from this whole debacle. Eventually this was resolved, and both patterns are again available for purchase on Ravelry and Etsy. So that's kind of what happened in extremely short form. We have the public posts and we have the result of the public posts. That's kind of what happened. My short form opinion on this is, first of all, that this didn't need to be public drama. Annie could have reached out to Alia before copyright claiming the pattern, and Alia could have waited a little bit longer for a reply before going to the stories. Then again, we live in the social media age where a lot of your followers don't only care about your patterns that you may design, they also care about you, and it's only fair to keep them updated when something like this happens. Kind of like your pattern being taken down and people are wondering where it is. Of course, I get that. But I also kind of get Annie's knee-jerk reaction to claim every pattern that pops up on Ravelry that appears to rip off hers, as, oh my goodness, there are so many similar patterns on Etsy now. And for clarity, I mean patterns that have come out since the sailor slippers went viral. I don't think, and I am not trying to imply, Annie Sews has gone after already existing patterns. Both legit like patterns that people have written and AI copies of the pattern, and some of them even are called sailor slippers or have sailor-like slippers or something like that in the name. Those are on Ravelry as well, not the AI patterns, but some of them are also called sailor slippers. So I kind of get her thinking as well, but this is also kind of a weird take on her end, in my opinion, since felted striped slippers have kind of been around since forever. Kind of like the Sarah's striped slippers that came out in May of 2025, aka like 6 months before this thing happened, and many different designs before that. Also, for clarity here, May Made Knits, who made the Sarah slippers, and Annie Sews both claim the patterns are a coincidence. But the thing with knitting patterns is that it's near impossible to come up with something entirely new and unique at this point. What matters is if it's a direct copy, which obviously this crochet pattern is not, as the crochet version is crocheted, and also visually quite different. The math and construction will be different because again it's crochet and it includes things that the knitting pattern does not, like a yarn calculator. When you go to add a pattern to Ravelry, there is a box that pops up where you can search the name you've decided to give your pattern, and it gives you a list of all the similar patterns to make sure there's not something that's near identical with the same name to avoid adding duplicate patterns. But yeah, when it comes to the sailor slippers compared to the Sarah slippers, these two patterns are also different. Sailor slippers are shaped for left and right. As you can see, they kind of have a foot shape. The Sarah pattern does not have shaping, and while the construction is similar on both, it's not going to be fully the same anyway, as one is also knit on 8mm needles and the other one is knit on 10mm needles. So that's kind of in very, very short form what happened with the patterns and what I think, and I guess I could talk for a long time, but I also don't feel like I need to, because in short, this is it. Nothing is new under the sun with knitting and crochet, and this is what happened. Again, if you want to hear more tea though, and more opinions and all of that, I have linked Aspen's video in the description of this video, and that one also has links to a bunch of Reddit threads about what happened, and if you are looking for spicy opinions, there are some on Reddit. But now it's time to hear what you guys think of these slippers. Just like with the Sophie patterns, I will do my best to summarize what you guys thought, aka I will not be sharing every single story reply I got. I honestly thought these slippers were going to get more love than the Sophie patterns, but you guys don't like slippers, which is totally fine. I'm not judging that, but my first question was whether you've knit the patterns, and it was a poll with the reply options: yes, no, but I will or I want to, no, and I will not, and no, but I would consider a dupe or a crochet version. And the option with the most votes, at 55% of the votes actually, was no and I will not. The second most voted for option was no, but I will or want to. The next question I asked was if you did knit them, did you enjoy making them, with one of those slide option thingies, going from no to yes, and it wasn't quite at yes, but closer to yes than the middle, so kind of, I guess. Then I asked if you haven't knit them, why not? And here we have so many replies. Oh my goodness, ranging from having too many other whips to they're cute but they're not my vibe, they don't look comfy, or they look itchy with the felting, to just plain not my style. I'm not interested, I don't wear slippers. With an honourable mention to slippers are foot prisons. Besties, go to the comments right now. Are you team always socks or team never socks? I feel like this is the most neurospicy thing I've ever asked you guys on the channel to this day, but I have to go on this tangent. I used to be team never socks, but I'm a convert due to necessity. My Reynolds cannot handle being barefoot at all, even in summer. I'm now team always socks and slippers. In winter we do socks, wool socks and slippers. Now I literally hate being without socks. Either way, I hear you, slipper hating bestie. I used to be you. Anyway, back to the opinions. I think it's totally fair to just plain not like them. Again, we have some contrarians also that don't want to knit them because they are overhyped and trendy, which is also fair. It's fair to be the contrarian. To the people who say they have too many whips, I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just gonna no such thing. Anyway, no. My goal with these videos is never to influence anyone in either way, whether it is to knit or to not knit them. I just wanted to try the pattern for myself because I personally find it very cute and I do use slippers. I really appreciate everyone sharing their opinions with me, and while the opinions were overwhelmingly saying no this time, everyone's been very respectful and nice, and it's been very fun reading everything. I'm going to pick out a couple of replies here because I want to respond to them ever so slightly. I wouldn't make crochet or knit slippers because I feel like they'd be too slippery to walk with. They can be honestly, but do Do you walk in wool socks? It's not much different from that, in my opinion at least, and that would give you a bit of a gauge on how slippery they would be. But like I mentioned earlier as well, you can actually add sock grip to the bottom of your soles of your felted slippers, or if you like leather crafting, you could also sew on a leather sole. We also have, I don't like the way they look, but I have thought about it for learning. So in my opinion, this is a well written and clear pattern, and definitely suitable for learning thanks to all of the link tutorials and clear language. But bestie, I urge you to find a project that you actually like and would use, rather than one that you don't like the look of. If felting is what you want to try out, there are so many other felted things one could make, like a cute purse or tote bag or a felted basket or a dice tray. I have actually gone ahead and made a pattern bundle again for the video, although since a lot of you aren't interested in slippers, I've added patterns that are other items as well, such as the ones I just mentioned. So if you want to try out felting stuff but you're not particularly into slippers, hopefully I've managed to add something that suits your interests as well. I really want to make this tote bag. It's super cute. Maybe one day. Right now I'm kind of needing to rest my hands from using big needles. But that's kind of that for the opinions. Thank you again everyone for sharing your thoughts with me. Also, sorry if you expected me to have some really hot takes in this one. Really the opinions were mostly, it's not my style, I'm not interested. And personally I liked knitting these and I liked the result. So I guess this is kind of a lukewarm take today, but hey, that's also okay. We don't have to be up in arms about everything, right? The drama kind of sucked when it happened, but it is what it is. It happened and now here we are. But now I want to ask, what do you think I should felt next? Or is there any other pattern that you'd like for me to try and gauge opinions for from the community and such? I have been really enjoying making these types of videos where I try a super trendy pattern to see if I like it and then ask you guys what you guys think. This time it's a yes from me with a pattern, but again, I am a slipper person, so I totally get not being interested if slippers just aren't your thing. But yes, let me know if there is another trendy pattern that you would like to see me try and dive into, or maybe a really niche one that could also be fun. Or just tell me, what's your latest pattern obsession? You know, when you find a pattern and you're just like, OMG, I have to make this like yesterday. I want to hear about it. Pop it in the comments down below or leave some cute emojis of farm animals today. Why? I don't know. I just feel like seeing some cows and sheep and horses in the comments this time. Also, while you are in the comments, please also take a tiny second to like the video if you liked it, as that helps me out a ton. Thank you. And also, if you are new here, hi, hello and welcome. Thank you so much for clicking on this video and for watching all the way to the end. If you are new and you would like to keep seeing what I get up to here on the channel in the future with my videos, please consider clicking the subscribe button down below and also ring the bell to get notified whenever I upload a new video. I post all kinds of fun things on here, like knit and crochet challenges, I try patterns like we did today, I do project vlogs, I do live streams and more. So if any of this sounds like something for you, please feel free to stick around and join the little cozy crafting club we got going here on the channel. Also, we have a Discord open for subscribers, which you can find linked in the description of the video. And we also have memberships open on the channel in case you want to get extra or even super cozy. Members get access to perks like stickers with the cats to use in chat and comments, a yarn badge next to their name in chat and comments, members only community posts, and super cozy members also get extra video content, as I just redid this tier. So yeah, extra videos are coming out. Members really help me do what I do on here, so thank you so much to my lovely members for being in the extra and super cozy club. There should be a button next to or in place of the subscribe button, as well as a link in the description in case you are interested in joining. Also in the description you can find links to my socials, as well as my pattern and stitch marker etc shops on Ko-fi, Etsy and Ravelry. But that is me yapping a very lot again, like I tend to do. So besties, I'm gonna let you go and enjoy the rest of your day just like that. You guys take care now, and I will see you again very soon in my next video. Bye.